Hey Internet! Kura here from QQMore.net. Today's topic is rotation.
In this guide I will discuss what rotation is and how to rotate efficiently. Furthermore, I will show you some tricks and examples that will equip you with a pattern, just like a mantra, which will help you to make the right decision in any scenario. So, what is rotation? Rotation describes movement in a wider scale. If you decide to leave far in order to help out at mid, you are simply going to rotate to mid. That's all. Let's jump right in and speak about the where to rotate. Rotation in itself is very tricky and also a complex topic for a guide. The rotation pattern of a bunker is vastly different if compared to an offensive roamer like Thief. It is influenced by your build, playstyle, skill, map, and also the enemy team setup. So how can we compile this all into one handy guide or technique? Well, I, for myself, often don't have a clear idea of where I absolutely want to go. However, over the years I came up with an interesting tactic. Instead of having a precise set goal, which may vary from match to match, I rather focus on where not to rotate. By thinking about the places where I would definitely not want to show up, my options are already so reduced that I often only end up with one valid choice. And this will also be our mantra for this guide. Let me show you some examples. Furthermore, let's say we play Thief on Forest of Niflhel. So the match starts and we have to make a quick decision, but just as mentioned, let's focus on the where not to go. The first idea we could have would be to pick close. However, since Thief builds tend to be very aggressive and built around stealth, we won't be able to hold the point for long, if attacked. So if a tankier class is in my team, I would choose to rotate somewhere else. The next option would be to kill the boss for 25 points and the buff. We wouldn't do that either, since the boss would force our team to miss one teammate in an upcoming fight. Now it gets interesting. Do we check far or mid? When you press B, you can see the roster of the enemy and therefore the classes you play against. In this example match we play against two elementalists, a ranger, an engineer and a guardian. Our build is especially vulnerable against engineers and off-guardians. Furthermore, we don't know if the elementalist or the ranger is playing a tanky build, so if we choose to pick far, it is very likely that we have to play against some of our counters or simply take too long for a fight. So by now we have 4 locations which we wouldn't be too useful in, and therefore we would pick mid. Maybe we would even take a quick turn on the beach to see if someone is crossing over to close. Another important variable is communication. Let's say this time you play Necro and our team is splitted, and we, the player, just respawned. 2 of our mates are at far and the others are at mid, both defending. So let's do this one more time. Close, if it is capped, should be good on its own. The boss wouldn't help us in the teamfight as well. Also, since we as necromancers have limited burst potential, enemies can easily steal it. So where do we go, far or mid? Since we are necromancer, we don't have all the mobility and possibilities to retreat like a thief. Therefore, we have to make a solid choice. One helpful little trick is to check out the health bars. So if our teammates at far or mid are going down, we might support the others, as we might risk to run into a fight which is already lost. Furthermore, far is, no pun intended, very far. So if we need backup, we will wait longer than we would on mid. Also, the enemies which respawn will be back again more quickly. This means if our teammates kill the enemies at mid, we will see them again at far very soon, giving them the potential to snowball us back. So if our teammates at mid are at low health, we would probably pick far. One last thing I want to share is the trial and error method. Let's go back to the Thief situation with the enemy team consisting out of elementalists, rangers, engineers and guardians. And let's also add on to this that I joined the mid fight. To my surprise, everyone is playing Berserker and I don't stand a chance to land my burst as they immediately focus me down. So, where do I rotate? Close? Nah. Boss? Mid then? Well, yes, you can support your team, however, a second ago you've learned, and this is especially important for thieves, that you are the weakest point of the chain within teamfights. Therefore you might want to go to mid and play very defensive, or take a peek at far. Let's go even further and say, you see that the guardian which countered you returns to fight you at far. So, one more round, what would be the worst decision? Staying at far, risking to get downed or to get killed by respawn, or maybe let him have his point and join the team fight with more manpower than the enemy team. No, sorry, the enemy boss still isn't an option. Let's wrap this up. Rotation always depends on so many things. There's no 100% correct approach you can figure out during the limited time of a match. To get a better understanding for where your help is needed most, it is always helpful to communicate with your team. Try to reduce all these variables into the where not to go principle. Understand your class. A necromancer can be played as an offensive roamer. However, you might not want to set far as your number one priority. Observe the information around you. Health bars, enemy builds, etc. Don't be too shy to improvise. If you run into a teamfight and died 3 times in a row, chances are high that you will die a 4th time. I hope I could show you what you, well, shouldn't do. Check out the links after the outro if you are interested in more guides. And as always, good luck, have fun. Also, do not stay at close over the course of the whole game. It is absolutely